Hello my friends and newcomers, my name is Carpo, and today I'm going to be doing a video about tea tree oil. Now there are probably a million videos and information about tea tree oil out there, and there's not a lot I can really say that hasn't been said, but I figured I would talk about my personal experience with this phenomenal oil. Now, as a lover of herbs and spices and medicines, I've always been fascinated by the natural cures, and essential oils from plants are something that is vastly overlooked. In my mind, essential oils are gold. They're worth their weight in gold. Yet they're overlooked because people assume that, well, you know, if they can take an entire field of lavender and put it in a giant boiling pot and distill the essential oils out of it, and make, you know, tons and tons of the stuff, people figure, well, if it's readily available, it must not be that great. I guess maybe that's not the best way to word it. If essential oil was worth what it was in ancient times, let's just say it would be worth significantly more. Now we have jasmine oil, which jasmine absolute is like, can be $100 per bottle or more. Very expensive for the real stuff. And there's a lot of crap on the market. It's very easy to dilute an oil and sell it on the market. So right here I have two different brands of tea tree oil. This is the Vitamin Shop brand, which is like the generic type that they sell at the herbal supplements or the super supplement store. And it says 100% pure, just like any of the other ones. And it's got the same information on it. Ingredients: Melaleuca, Alternifolia. And that's it. So this right here now is Melaleuca brand. Now this stuff costs about twice as much. This is labeled as T36C5. And what that means is that it has 36% terpenin. It's rather terpenin 4-OL, I believe, is the, or 4-OL terpenin, whatever. It's the main terpene or aromatic compound within this plant. And the C5 represents that it has no more than 5% cineol. Now cineol can be the irritating part that will irritate the skin. Most vendors do not label their cineol content or their terpenin content, so you don't really know. But Melaleuca does. You can't order Melaleuca on, I mean, I think you might be able to buy it directly, I'm not sure. But anyway, my mother-in-law is a vendor, and it's one of those deals where you get people to sign up under you and then they get kickbacks, so she had us sign up, and for years we've been buying this stuff. And since they make so many household products, we use them all the time. But over the last 15 years or so, I've been comparing all these different types. And I found that even though it's 100% essential oil, and that's 100% essential oil, they are not the same product. This one actually drips much faster, and it has a much lighter consistency. This stuff is much more like an oil. So I'm not going to get too into the details, but Melaleuca also makes, instead of a T36C5, they make a T40C3. That means it has 40% terpenin and only 3% cineol, much less. And this is for people who have very sensitive skin. And it's very expensive compared to this stuff. It's considered the cream of the crop. So, all that aside, for external uses and abrasions, this stuff's phenomenal. I mean, in the military in Australia, they would keep it in their first aid kits. It's used, you know, all over in Australia for various uses, but I would want to just make a few points about it, because there's not a lot I can say that isn't on the internet. It's not to be taken internally. It can be very damaging internally, and it can actually, I believe it has some sort of estrogen-related action that it takes. So if a person was to use a lot of it or take it for a long period of time, it may cause problems. Which, and this isn't very common. I mean, essential oils some of them can be used internally, and many people can take essential oils as part of their diet. The question is whether or not this soaks into the skin and causes any problems if you use it long term. I've been using it for a long time, and it's only brought me greatness. I mean, it's helped to heal my wounds. If I have one of those, you know, cuts that just won't go away, or sometimes I might get a dry ear in the winter and it gets kind of cracked, I put a little bit of Melaleuca in there in a gel form. It's like the Melagel they make, which is basically, you can make that by putting any tea tree oil in a, you know, like a, you know, a Vaseline or some sort of an, you know, an oil, any type of carrier oil that you want to use. But the other thing that this stuff works for is it will clean a spot off of anything. Like, this is one of the most amazing things. You can draw on your skin with permanent black marker, let it dry, and then wipe it with Melaleuca, and it'll take the marker right off, but it doesn't damage your skin at all. If you have the best, I've tested it with heavy-duty markers by putting them on all types of different plastic surfaces, even ones that have been there for years, and I'll come and just rub them right off. And anybody who's ever used Goof Off, you know, if you've done construction, you might have used Goof Off, and it basically works the same as Goof Off. The difference is that Goof Off is combustible, it's dangerous, it contains, I believe, xylene, it's harmful to your health. So here we have an oil that does all of that. It removes stains, it heals cuts. It's just an amazing thing. They also make this one brand. This stuff. This is the reason why I made the video. I was just inspired when I grabbed this. This is like gold to me. It's called Solumel. Concentrate number 292 stain remover, and this here makes up to 200 fluid ounces. And basically, all it is alcohol, Melaleuca oil, and tincture of green soap. And when you mix a little bit of this, a capful, in with a thing of water, it just turns white, you know, as it mixes, because well, I won't get into the chemical details of it, but I just wanted to say that it's great stuff. And since I've never mentioned it, really, I figured I would. You don't have to buy Melaleuca brand. I would just say that make sure you go with a trusted maker of oils. Essential oils can be very expensive. Melaleuca tends to be one of the cheapest ones because it's not made from flowers. It's made from a tree, and pine trees. For to kind of give you an idea, here in where I live in the Pacific Northwest, pine trees contain what they call alpha pinene, and alpha pinene is what they use in things like pine sol. And so a lot of the cleaners were made from these type of products too. So every tree has its own essential oils and its own benefits, and they can be really useful. I'd love to make a whole video talking about all the essential oils, but they all have their own purposes and uses. My main ones that I use are eucalyptus, tea tree oil, orange oil, limonene, and clove oil. It's phenomenal for toothaches, anything like that. I mean, basically when you buy like the toothache medicine, it smells like cloves because that's all it is clove oil. And one of the other ones that I use is, one of my favorites actually, is thyme oil. Thyme, a little bit of that will kill any aphids, bugs, or anything that's on your plants, and makes a wonderful cleaner, and it smells good too. So, a little bit about essential oils. Have a great